I'm Leah Lando, live in Niagara Falls. We thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, we begin with information about a terrible tragedy that police say happened right here Monday night. They tell me a mother intentionally went over the falls, bringing with her her 2 young children. Their bodies have not been recovered.
Just imagine the loud noise of Niagara Falls, a place known for its breathtaking beauty, its beautiful mist, and a powerful force that attracts millions every year. But sometimes, in the shadow of that beauty, tragic stories unfold. Here's one such event. A mother and her 2 young children went over Niagara Falls intentionally. Why did this happen? What could drive someone to such an extreme choice? Let's piece together the story. On the evening of October 28th, 2024, Niagara Falls, known for its beauty and popularity with tourists, became the scene of a shocking tragedy. A 33-year-old mother, Chianti Means, and her 2 young children, 9-year-old Roman Rossman and 5-month-old Mecca Means, went over the edge of the American Falls, which is one of the most powerful and famous waterfalls in the world. Luna Island, the spot where they fell, sits between the American Falls and the Bridal Veil Falls, making it one of the most scenic yet risky areas at the falls. The incident has shocked people across the country and left investigators with difficult questions. Authorities arrived quickly on the scene at around 9 p.m. after receiving emergency calls from visitors who witnessed the tragedy. The initial reports suggested that the mother and her children went over the falls intentionally, though this theory is still being investigated as police try to understand what led to the event. On that October evening, tourists on Luna Island were enjoying the usual nighttime views of Niagara Falls, taking photos and observing the famous waterfall illuminated by colored lights. Niagara Falls attracts millions of tourists every year because of its natural beauty and powerful waters, which make it one of the world's most visited natural attractions. But on this night, some visitors noticed a disturbance near the railing on Luna Island, close to the American Falls. According to witnesses, there was a sudden, unexpected movement near the edge. Many didn't understand what was happening until they saw the mother and her children go over the railing. The situation became chaotic as people nearby tried to make sense of what they were seeing. Calls to 911 quickly followed, and park police and emergency responders rushed to the scene. The sight of the fall is both beautiful and dangerous. Standing near the powerful falls can be mesmerizing, but it's also easy to forget the dangers when you're so close to the rushing waters. The railing on Luna Island is there to prevent accidents, yet it is not very tall, making it possible to go over if someone climbs it or leans too far. When emergency responders arrived, they had to act fast. Niagara Falls State Park Police and other local emergency responders set up search operations in the fast-moving waters below the falls, where strong currents and rocky terrain create serious obstacles. Responders noted that the American Falls is about 180 feet high, with rocks and powerful waters below that can make rescue and recovery very challenging. As emergency teams searched, they discovered the bodies of Chianti Means and her children. The physical challenges presented by the falls make any recovery effort difficult, and responders had to work carefully to retrieve the family from the water and rocky areas below. The teams involved included park police, local firefighters, and other local emergency response units, all of whom worked together to ensure a respectful and careful recovery operation. The responders who witnessed the scene have described the experience as extremely difficult. Many of these individuals are used to handling emergencies, but the emotional impact of such a tragic event, especially one involving young children, was overwhelming for everyone involved. As soon as the bodies were recovered, investigators began looking into the circumstances of the fall. The initial findings suggest that the act may have been intentional. According to police statements, there are indications that Chianti Means might have climbed or leaned over the safety railing with her children before the fall. However, these details are still under investigation, as authorities seek to understand why this happened and whether it could have been prevented. Police are examining all available evidence, including security footage from the park, statements from witnesses, and other relevant information. Luna Island, where the fall occurred, is typically under surveillance, as it's one of the busiest parts of Niagara Falls. This footage could provide key insights into the family's final moments and help confirm whether the act was deliberate or accidental. As part of the investigation, police are also looking into Chianti Mean's background to understand if there were any underlying issues or signs of distress that could explain the tragedy. They are talking to friends, family members, and anyone who might have information that could help clarify what happened. While investigations of this nature can take time, officials are determined to find answers that might explain this heart-wrenching incident. News of the incident spread quickly, not just within the Niagara Falls area, but also across the United States. People who had been visiting Niagara Falls that day were shaken, and many had to process the traumatic experience of witnessing such a tragedy. Both locals and visitors have expressed grief and shock, with many wondering how something like this could happen at such a well-visited, seemingly safe place. Social media has been filled with expressions of sympathy for the victims and their families, as well as messages of support for the emergency responders and investigators working on the case. People have shared stories of their own experiences at Niagara Falls and expressed sorrow that a place known for joy and beauty could be the scene of such a sad event. The tragedy has raised questions about mental health and the importance of being aware of the emotional struggles that people might be going through. It's a reminder that individuals can sometimes hide their pain, even from those closest to them. Niagara Falls State Park has always ensured safety for its millions of visitors each year. There are multiple safety signs, barriers, and information stations, reminding people of the dangers of standing too close to the falls and of the need to respect the barriers. However, after this incident, some are questioning whether these safety measures are enough. One challenge with safety at places like Niagara Falls is that, while barriers and signs are in place, they can't always prevent intentional actions. Niagara Falls State Park officials have responded by saying they are continually reviewing and updating safety measures to keep up with the needs of visitors. They are discussing possible improvements to barriers or additional signage, though these changes will require careful planning to avoid interfering with the natural beauty and visitor experience at the park. The loss of Chianti Means and her 2 children has left a profound mark on everyone who has learned about the event. For many, it's a tragic reminder of the unpredictability of life and the struggles that some individuals face quietly. While investigators continue their work, people are reflecting on how important it is to be aware of and support mental health for all ages and backgrounds. At the same time, the incident highlights the need for continued safety improvements at tourist sites, where natural beauty can sometimes overshadow potential dangers. While no amount of safety measures can fully prevent intentional actions, raising awareness and being vigilant can make a difference. As the investigation progresses, the community at Niagara Falls is coming together to mourn the lives lost in this tragedy. Support networks for witnesses, first responders, and family members are being put in place to help people cope with the emotional impact. This event will be remembered by the many who were touched by it, from the locals who live in the Niagara area to those who have visited or admired the falls from afar. For now, the authorities are focused on completing a thorough investigation, hoping to provide answers that might offer some closure to family and friends. This tragedy at Niagara Falls serves as both a call for compassion and an invitation to be vigilant about our loved ones' well-being.